Hi and welcome to the wagon. My name's Steve and this is my wagon. This is the first of hopefully many videos documenting my model railway journey as we not only create this model railway but other projects and in other gauges other than 00. Let's talk about where we are. This is my 1930s, 1940s Great Western mink wagon. She's affectionately been christened Minky by my partner, and she was rescued from a field in Norfolk where she was a stable to a few donkeys. I brought it back here, completely stripped it, rebuilt it, and she is what she is today. She's my pride and joy, and she's pride of place in my garden and houses what is hopefully going to be my dream model railway. Let's talk about the layout. This layout is set in the 1980s, give or take a couple of years. She's set in North London. Currently she's unnamed. We're thinking maybe Finsbury because that's the area that the layout is set. She's going to be running anything from Deltics through to class 91s and the 89, HSTs, 47s, Peaks, you name it. If it travelled on the East Coast Main Line in the 80s, we're going to try and run it. Equally to all that beautiful mainline stock, we're also going to be looking at the suburban stock of that era. So for those not in the know, I'm about to just reel off a whole bunch of numbers, but for those that are in the know, we're looking at the EMUs of 312s, 313s, 317s, as well as we'll have the first generation DMUs in the 101s and the 108s, as well as second generation DMUs in 158s in the corner. Okay, so we'll start with the fiddle yard. As you can see, there's four tracks coming in. This will be my lift out section here. It's currently gluing on the other side. This track is the up slow, up fast, down slow, down fast, down slow. Each of these tracks will divide into 3 roads for each. We have on the 2 fasts, we have these dividing off quite early to give me 2 tracks or 1 track on each side, as long as physically possible for 8 coach HSTs. On the back, this track here goes along the back, and this second track here, they're actually for freight. So we'll have a look at that a little bit later, but effectively there are 3 roads for each of the up fast, down fast, up slow and down slow, and then 2 tracks for the goods. Okay, so we'll move along the fiddle yard here. The layout at this end is not the best, but as I said, it's to enable at least 1 track on both of the up fast and down fast for an 8 coach HST, and it does fit in on each of them. The 2 rear tracks here are the goods, and you'll see why in a minute, and then we have the rest of them coming across here. This line here is an additional, and as you can see there is a dead end siding here for DMUs, so I can get 4 DMUs in there if I need to. As you can see, they all converge, and they converge into 5 tracks. The rear one is the goods loop, up slow, up fast, down slow, and these two here are just two sidings within the fiddle yard. Okay, so we move around to the station area. If I move this set of stock out of the way, and this set, you will see we have 5 tracks. We have goods loop, up slow, up fast, down slow. The plan for this is, if you can see the road layout here, is an overbridge as a scenic break. The station building will be on here with footbridge coming down to 2 platforms. Pretty classic East Coast Main Line island platforms. And then there'll be an array of shops either side of the road coming down. The road widens, bus and taxi rank with shops and businesses coming down either side. This part here is actually going to be a track that runs down onto the baseboard level, and we'll come to that bit in a moment. Moving round to the right, we have our second area of focus, which is a museum. Not normal, I get that, but I have some items of rolling stock that don't fit the 1980s East Coast Main Line picture, and hopefully some of these will be housed here along with a few old buses and lorries and a couple of other items that fit the museum scene. The museum itself will be, the facade of the museum will be here with various tracks running into it, and then outside of that will be on display the items of rolling stock. We may even have an item of rolling stock that will shuttle up and down, giving passenger rides. At this point, the goods loop here converges with the up slow, and then we get to our 4-track section, with the exception of this part here, which is the branch or cross-country line which heads off in that direction. In front of the tracks where I said this track comes down, this is the site of an old steam shed. So the plan is to have the shed on the edge here. The shed will be massively overgrown, falling down, maybe have a track in it, maybe not. The siding around the back here is going to be an engineer's siding, and as it comes from this side towards the dead end, it will get just more and more overgrown, and that should tie in nicely. There may even be an abandoned piece of stock down there. As we move along the layout, you'll see as she goes off into the distance the 4 main running lines, and the 2 centre are the up and down fast, one of which, the down fast, has recently been upgraded to concrete track. The idea being that the ballast around it will be all fresh, while all the other ballast on the other 3 lines will be aged, weathered, and look appropriately grimy. Underneath these running lines will be a road bridge running through, just as something to break up the flatness. From here we open up into the engine shed, or modern MPD. Not a massive one, but it'll hold probably about 8 to 10 locos, which is more than enough. It just looks silly with anything else. And as you can see, we have the 4-track main line across the back here, one of which has been updated to concrete sleepers. If you notice the white packers, that is to get the cant into the track so that the stock will lean as it enters corners. And then we have the MPD and the cross-country line coming across down the front, dropping down into its own tunnel mouth, and there'll be a 2-track fiddle yard in there for it. And hopefully I will set this up as a shuttle, to just shuttle all the way up into its own siding over there and back. The 4 tracks will diverge there and enter the mainline tunnels. Hopefully where my lift out section is, we'll eventually one day have a bit of a scenic break up there, and my sort of 2 foot square 009 layout will sit up in the corner there, and then back across the lift out section and back into the fiddle yard. Well, there you go, that's the whirlwind tour of the layout. Hopefully it gives you an idea of what I'm trying to achieve and what it should look like in the future. I think next we're going to go and prepare to lay some track across my lift out section, and we're going to do that by strengthening the rail joints by laying copper clad sleepers on the ends of each board so we can solder the rails to them and strengthen it all up. Okay, so this is the edge of my baseboard, and it is, Okay, so this is the edge of my baseboard, and this is where the tracks will cross onto the lift out section, which comes in here. This piece will have cork on it, but if we were to lay track straight across here using the glue method, and then we cut the rails, the ends of the rails are very delicate. They'll only be held in by the plastic chairs on the sleepers, and they're not a great bond. You'll find within a couple of lift outs that the rails will probably get caught and they'll be ripped out, and you'll probably have to relay that item of track. The way I like to strengthen this area is to use copper clad sleepers. So we'll lay copper clad sleepers on both sides of this joint, and we will lay the track, we'll solder the track to the copper clad sleepers, and then we'll cut the track. So I'll demonstrate the laying of the copper clad sleepers next. We'll take the lift out section away. Okay, so we're ready to lay copper clad. So we have cork here. We don't want to lay the copper clad straight onto the cork. Ideally we want to be on the wood below the cork. So we'll cut away the cork. We're going to use these wooden strips for our support for our copper clad. So we'll take a pen, we'll mark where these strips are going to go. Simple as that. And then we'll take a knife and we will cut the cork away. We take our trusty, very blunt Stanley knife and we remove a section of cork. I keep my old Stanley knives so I can use them in such an event, and we find that our packing material sits in quite nicely. Once this is bonded to the baseboard with a copper clad strip on top. That'll be very solid, and we can solder our rails to it. We'll show you that bit, the next bit, next. So we're going to put a liberal coat of PVA glue along the edge. Followed by 1, 2. We'll cut off the end. Excuse the camera wobble. To make it neat. Now I know I need 2 of these wooden strips on top to make it the right height, so we'll put another layer of PVA. Always a good idea to stagger joints. So this is normal length, so if I start this end, the original joint is actually staggered, so we'll put it over there like so, and then we will cut this one to length. Excuse the flying wood. There we go. And then we need to hold it down. So we'll take a piece of wood, place it over the top, and then we'll take a heavy duty clamp. Couldn't find a bigger one, so this will have to do. Joking, by the way. And we clamp it down. You can see all the glue squeeze out. You may not be able to see that. We'll just wipe it in and we'll leave it to dry. That will be dry later on today. Once the rest of the other 3 are done, we should be ready to run track across this board joint, and we'll show you that bit. So here's the so here's one end of my lift out section complete. Copper clads are in place. Glue's still drying slightly, but it's fixed. Next we will lay track across here and solder the rails to the copper clad sleepers, and we'll show you that probably in the next video. While copper clad's dry, we'll go and do some editing, and we'll see if we can get this video out sometime soon. In the next video, we'll probably lay the track across the lift out section and hopefully end up with 4 main circuits complete. Also in the next video, we're going to be starting a full rake of Mark II O-gauge air-conditioned coaches. It's a big project. We'll probably run it alongside the work that we do in here, and some other things may pop up as well. If you've got this far, thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. If you want to like and subscribe, please feel free, and by all means leave comments. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time in the wagon.